Fire is the element of power. The people of the Fire Nation have desire and will and the energy to achieve what they want. With that being said, whose fire burns brightest? Of the 4 elements, fire has the most raw power behind it. Firebenders are full of passion and power can spread their blaze far and wide. The Fire Nation did so during the 100-Year War and almost succeeded. In this video, we are going to rank the strongest firebenders in all of Avatar. Raw power will be a factor, but creativity and skill will also play a role. Who will outshine the rest? Let's get into it right now. We're starting this list off with a spicy one. Wait, how can Aang, the Avatar, master of all 4 elements, be at number 10? Well, let me explain. Aang is in fact the Avatar, but when looking at his skills outside of that role, Aang's skills with firebending are actually above average at best. When he is in the Avatar state, Aang is just not himself. He is accessing the wealth of knowledge and experience from his past lives. Thousands of years worth of experience all coming out at once. If we allow that, then by God, Aang rockets up to that number 2 spot. But when it comes to what Aang can do on his own, as just Aang, he falls short. Now, this is not to say he is a novice. Part of being the Avatar means being a quick learner. Aang's trained to master all 4 elements over the course of 1 summer. In less than 3 months, Aang was considered a master firebender thanks to Zuko and the Sun People. Another thing we have to take into account is the past trauma Aang has with fire. When he tried to rush his training, he burned Katara. She may have healed from the burns, but Aang was scarred by just how strong fire is. This perhaps affected his willingness to use fire going forward, even when he mastered it. Yep, the 2 avatars bring up the rear in this list. It's controversial for sure, but as explained before, we're looking at these individuals on their own merits as firebenders. Korra is just going to be Korra for the purposes of this list. So why is she above Aang? Well, simply put, Korra is not burdened with the trauma of hurting someone with her bending. She deals with a lot of other trauma, but her abilities and prowess with bending help define her. Additionally, I think it speaks more to Korra's character that she mastered fire, earth, and water before air. Those elements deal so much with the physical world, some more than others. But the fact remains there is something ethereal about airbending. For starters, it's entirely invisible. You can't see air, and while we the viewers could see Aang airbend, in universe no one can see it. It's air after all. Korra has her feet firmly planted on the ground. Her mind was already primed for earth and firebending, and being raised in the water tribe made her a natural waterbender. Simply put, Korra was more of a firebender than Aang could ever hope to be because Korra gravitated towards strength, at least in the beginning of her journey. Next up, we have Makko, whose firebending is significantly more impressive than his dating skills. Makko demonstrates a skill that we have only seen from a handful of other benders, the ability to generate lightning. Now, in Korra's world, generating lightning is not as rare, though it is still an uncommon trait among firebenders. But Makko's application and experience makes him a cut above the rest. During the last airbender, generating and redirecting lightning was only seen in one bloodline, the royal family. Ozai, Azula, Iroh, they could all generate and redirect lightning with relative ease. Now, the ability to generate lightning is now a genetic one. Now, this isn't a theory video about how Makko could have secretly been related to Iroh, unless...
What?
No, but seriously, what most likely happened was just a natural process of information becoming more and more available. Back in Aang's time, the ability to generate lightning probably was kept within the royal family or a closely guarded secret. Makko shows us just how good the common firebender can be when he can generate lightning at will. You know, I don't care what anyone else thinks, Zuko's pretty smart. And he's a good firebender. In fact, he is more than good. He is amazing. When we first met Zuko, he was a hot-headed, arrogant, and emotionally stunted villain. By the end of the series, however, he is more tempered, humble, and emotionally mature. Now, those may just sound like Zuko's character arc, but it helped make him a stronger firebender. After he let go of his anger and desire to capture Aang, he lost his ability to firebend. Only after being shown the true source of firebending did Zuko's power reach new heights. He may not be able to generate lightning or produce blue flames, but he has earned every single victory. Zuko has shown that he is far more honorable and deserving of the title of Fire Lord than anyone in his current family. Before Zuko taught Aang how to firebend, there was Jeong Jeong, a deserter of the Fire Nation. Bitter at what his natural abilities can do, Jeong Jeong was reluctant to teach Aang firebending. In that same episode, we learn that Jeong Jeong also taught Admiral Zhao, another reminder that he is not the best teacher. When he is not shutting himself away from the world, he is a member of the White Lotus, a secret society made up of powerful and influential people from all 4 nations. We see just how powerful Jeong Jeong is when taking back Ba Sing Se. He and Iroh are supercharged by Sozin's comet and proceed to utterly destroy the occupying Fire Nation force. What happens when you mix Ozai's ambitions with none of the emotional support of a loving family? You could get Azula. A mess would have also been an acceptable answer.
I must find the Avatar to restore my honor.
Azula is a power-hungry tyrant that is so twisted even Iroh couldn't forgive her. Straight up, instead of the sagely advice he would normally give, he said Azula was crazy and she needed to be taken down. Of course, all that crazy wasn't just talk. Oh, no. Azula was a threat. A mixture of cold and calculated cunning mixed with some genuinely devastating firepower. Not only was she the first bender we saw who could generate lightning, but her flames are so hot they are blue. That may have been a cool way for the artists and animators to distinguish her from Zuko, but it's true. Orange and red fire is typically 1,000 to 2,300 degrees Fahrenheit, while blue flames exceed temperatures of 3,000. Youch. Of course, it's not just her raw power that makes her stronger than the other firebenders on this list. It's that she is also manipulative and downright dirty. I mean, she struck Aang basically in the back with a lightning bolt and killed him. He comes back with Katara's healing and after using the spiritual water she got, but essentially, she killed Aang. The Dragon of the West, the wisest and most wholesome character in all of Avatar, heck, in all of fiction maybe, Uncle Iroh.
What do you think it is?
What can I say about Iroh that hasn't already been said? I mean, when you saw his name on this list, you probably started humming Leaves from the Vine, didn't you? Honestly, I felt like giving Iroh the #1 spot just because. I mean, look at him. He's perfect. But you don't get a nickname like Dragon of the West for making amazing tea. Earlier in the 100-Year War, before Aang's unfreezing, Iroh was a powerful general in the Fire Nation army and next in line to become Fire Lord. Back in the day, it would be safe to assume that Iroh and Ozai were on equal footing when it comes to firebending ability. Yet after the loss of his son, something changed within Iroh. His brother surpassed him for the throne and also surpassed him in strength. The thing is though, Iroh never really had aspirations for the throne. It's not right to say that Ozai surpassed him. Iroh just found that there was more to life than physical and political power. There is also spiritual power and the secrets to the perfect jasmine tea. Yeah, all that stuff's also important. There are a lot of interesting subclasses of bending in the world of Avatar. You have blood bending, metal bending, even lava bending, but perhaps the oddest subclass of bending is combustion bending. Said to be a mix of air and fire bending, combustion bending basically allows the user to make explosions at will. Combustion bending is rare, about as rare as lava bending. Sadly, I doubt the practice will come back since the only 2 known combustion benders are dead. And we have combined them into one entry, Pali and Sparky Boom Man. The actual process of combustion bending is unknown, but based on Pali and SSBM, the process required a good amount of chi and a focus, usually on their forehead, which would direct a concentrated explosion that would detonate on contact. The raw destructive power combined with the fact it can be shot from great distances makes combustion bending one of the most destructive forms of bending in the franchise. Well, here he is, the big bad guy from The Last Airbender, the man who planned to scorch the earth and remake it as one big fire nation. Ever since the end of Season 1, we looked forward to the inevitable fight that would decide the fate of the world. Aang against Ozai for all the marbles. Make no mistake, Aang might have all 4 elements on his side, but Ozai is more than just a master firebender. He is the firebender. Even without Sozin's comet powering him, Ozai was a formidable firebender. But we see him in his prime when the comet is out. And just by himself, he is able to scorch the very ground until it is nothing. He even held his own against Aang in the Avatar state, something very few people have ever done. In fact, Aang saw that it wasn't enough. If the lion turtle hadn't given Aang the ability to energy bend, he may not have been able to take out Ozai. Aang didn't have the stomach to kill. Ozai did and would have gladly melted Aang's bones. It is that mixture of absolute ruthlessness and the power to back it up that makes Ozai one of the most powerful firebenders. Was anyone really surprised to see 2 dragons as the best firebenders in the Avatar franchise? I get it if it seems a tad anticlimactic or out of left field, but come on! Ran and Sha are the last remaining dragons, and they were the first firebenders. During Sozin's reign, he made hunting and killing these dragons a badge of honor, the modern-day equivalent of trophy hunting. Iroh found Ran and Sha and was deemed worthy to be taught real firebending. In return for being made worthy of this gift, Iroh lied about finding and killing them when he returned to the Fire Nation. That selfless act let Zuko and Aang see them as well and learn just as Iroh had all those years ago. While we have not seen Ran and Sha in action, we can gauge their power by a few key factors. Firstly, they are revered as demigods by the Sun Warriors, an ancient tribe who were taught by the dragons centuries ago. Two, and this probably should have been first, but they're freaking dragons! Those are ancient, centuries-old dragons who could probably take down a whole nation if they wanted to. Before we end the video, here's one last did you know fact. Did you know, according to the Avatar Kyoshi book, firebenders are not immune from their own flames? Instead, they have an instinctual level of control to not burn themselves. That's pretty cool.